two things that I don't know if I'm good at yet, and that's recording a YouTube video or beekeeping. And I'm going to try both of them at the same time. So what I got is I went and picked up 2 3-pound bee packages from a place in Sneads Ferry, North Carolina. I ordered 1 hive about a month ago, which is this one, 2 deeps and a super 10-frame Langstroth hives. And the plan was to buy 1 3-pound bee package, and then I was going to try to trap one with a gentleman in the neighborhood who said he was going to mentor me through this. He's been helping me out. So I have a trap set up, which did not trap any bees. So today when I went to pick them up, I ordered a second 3-pound package and I bought a second Langstroth hive kit with 2 deeps. So that's what I'm going to start off with this year. Got my little bee suit. I've got 2 jars of sugar water that I set up to feed them here in the beginning. I've got my smoker. I'm going to use pine needles for smoker fuel. I've got a spray bottle with water in it to spray the bees, give them a light, just plain water spray. Kind of calms them down and stops them from being able to fly when you're first taking them out of the package. A brush in case I need to brush anything off. And then of course the bees, which come with a marked queen in this case. So you can see here in the marked queen, or in the bee cage, there is a marked queen. She has some attendants in there with her, and then the white that you see there is called the candy. So corked on both ends, but there's a candy end. The queen will not be accepted by the hive initially. I mean, they would kill her if you just let her in there. So basically when she's releasing all the pheromones over the next 2 to 3 days, she'll be trapped inside that with the candy, and the worker bees will eat through the candy over the next couple days. During that time they will get used to her pheromones, accept her as their queen, and once she's released, she'll be the queen of that hive, start laying the eggs and all that. All right, I'm gonna set this thing back up on the tripod, and then I'm just gonna kind of work through everything, and we'll see how it turns out. So I'm gonna do them one at a time, and pop the queen out, and then I'll put the package in right on top of the queen, and I won't take her out of the queen cage. I'm just going to pop the cork out of the candy in and put her in there, and then I'll dump the package in on top of her. I'm probably going to stop talking so much as I do this, because I don't really know what I'm doing yet. So I'm going to do it based off memory and the books that I've been reading over the last couple months. And then I might put some audio back in over top of it whenever I do the video. So haven't really decided as I continue to do this with the chickens and the garden and all that stuff, if I'm going to document everything and talk while I'm doing it, or if I'm going to maybe record some audio back over it. How much do I want to edit the videos and all that? I'm not really sure yet. So this is the first video that I've ever recorded for anything with the homesteading, gardening, farming. So we'll see how it works out. So I'm going to do one package at a time. Here, as you can see, the queen's in there with the candy. I'm going to pop the cork out of the candy end. She can't get out yet, neither can the workers. The candy's still in there. And I'm going to place this in between the middle of the 10 frames. They're spread out, then I'll wedge the frames back in on them. I'm going to place that candy end at a 45-degree angle down. You don't want it to be completely vertical like this. If any of the attendant bees in there die and clog up the hole in the bottom, she won't be able to get out. So we'll keep it at a 45-degree angle, and she'll be able to get out as the workers eat that candy away. know how aggressive they're going to be right here off the bat. So I want to put this thing on. I've never wore it before. I'm not super concerned about getting stung by AB, but I'm slightly concerned about getting stung by 20,000. So try it this way first, see how it goes. Also, the smoker, I've read mixed opinions on using the smoker for the first time. They might not be that aggressive because they don't really have a queen that they're trying to protect or an established hive that they're trying to do anything with. So I have the smoker ready in case I need to calm them down, but I don't know if that's going to be necessary. So I'll hold off on that. I drove home with the bees in the back seat of the truck, and they had a few of them that were stuck to the outside, and they were inside the truck with me. I don't know, 15 or 20 bees. They just rode along looking for a way out. They didn't care. I didn't get stung. They're pretty docile so far from what I can tell. I'm also not going to wear the gloves just so I have a little bit better dexterity. And if I get stung, then I guess I will put the gloves on. Method here, you know, they're all starting to work their way out already, but the method here is to shake the box so that they all go down to the bottom, and then you turn it over and you start working them out. They should kind of fly out on their own. So give it a shake and see what happens. Most of them are out now, and I'm going to bring the camera over so you can kind of see what's going on. But there are always dead bees in the bottom of the package, which is totally fine. You kind of just let them do their thing. Eventually they'll clean them out, but so far no gloves on. They don't give a crap about me. They're trying to get out of the box. They're all pissed because I just shook them, and that can there is inside the package. It's got their food in it, sugar water. The queen's inside that cage right there, and we'll just kind of let them work their way into the box. I'll use that brush. I'm going to put a second deep hive on top of the box with no frames in it, and that's where that sugar water canister can stay over the next not maybe weeks, months, depending on when they start foraging for their own food based on, you know, the spring flower bloom and all that kind of stuff. But and then as they fill this bottom box up with all their brood and they start laying eggs and stuff, then I'll add frames to the top. So basically you're expanding this thing vertically as they start filling everything up. The first two are going to be for them, and then there's something called a queen excluder as they get those filled up, and you want to make honey that's not filled with eggs and brood, which are like bee eggs actually. You're going to put that queen excluder, it stops her from going up top into that super, the honey super, so you're going to get pure honey without any brood or anything like that in it. Alright, so the queen's in there, the package is opened up, all the bees have been dumped out of the package, most of them have worked their way down in there already. I'm going to take this little brush them off to the side so that I can get the next 10 frame box on top of it, and then we'll start letting them do their thing. Camera over here one more time, kind of so you see what it looks like as I build it up. All right, so you got the package that they came in. They're going to keep working themselves out of there. This is the hive entrance. What I forgot to get today that I will pick up another one is an entrance reducer. So depending on what they're doing, how healthy the hive is, how strong they are, you'll put this entrance reducer in there. And the purpose of that, to reduce the size of the entrance that the bees have to guard. So now we have this small little entrance right here. I'm going to leave it off for now so they can all get their way in and out. But a more aggressive, strong colony will come in and rob this colony because they're not very well established yet. By reducing the size of the entrance, the guard bees don't have as much to protect other than this little opening right here. Then the opening can get a little bigger, and then if you needed it all the way off, you could do that. So now we have that sugar water canister in there upside down on top of the frames. They can still eat. The queen's in there. They're going to get used to her over the next couple of days, and they'll eat the candy out of there, and then they'll end up releasing her. So 2 or 3 days, I'll open this thing back up and I'll double check that they're still doing good. And after about a week, then we'll be able to see the queen should be out, and she's probably starting to lay eggs and stuff like that. I'm actually going to leave these covers off for a little bit until many of them get in there as they can. I'm going to go ahead and start working on the other hive.
Is that the queen right there?
Inside this cage. Yeah, I haven't showed you yet. Here, look. Oh, you might not be able to see, but inside the queen has a red dot. They mark her with a paint pen, and so whenever you do your hive inspections, you can see it's on top of her head. That's called a marked queen. The bee apiaries usually charge a little bit more for a marked queen than an unmarked queen because it obviously takes them time to try it with the water this time and see what happens. made out of that other one over there. Basically,
did you just squish them?
Huh?
Did you just squish them?
Well, some of them do get
Pretty much all of them in there?
Yeah, I mean, they're flying around now. You can see them, they're everywhere. But the majority of them are in there. So what you do is you grab this box and you shake it so that they're kind of all at the bottom. And right now you can see that they're all clumped to one side. There's a lot of dead bees on your right side, my left. But they are hanging in there on each other. And there's very few. I think they say like a third of this package can be dead bees, and it's okay. They expect some of them to die, but right now a lot of these bees most of them are still alive.
Oh my god. That's what you did last time?
Huh?
That's what you did last time?
Yeah.
Jesus. That is so mean. I'm about to get stung.
That's that. So once they come out, you just kind of let them do their thing. They're going to make their way down into the hive. And they're bouncing all over my hands and everything, but they're not stinging me. And they're all over you. Not on you, but all around you. They just don't care right now, you know? Same kind of thing. And they're all kind of congregating in there. They're starting to work their way down into the frames. So something else to consider. There's a gap here because I have the queen cage in there right now. But what you want, and Langstroth hives are built to these dimensions. They call it the bee space. If I remember correctly, I think it's 3/8 of an inch. There's just really enough room for the size of these bees to get in and out of there, but not enough that they feel like they need to fill in any gaps. So once the queen is out of there, we'll take the cage out and then we'll tighten all these frames up to each other, which then gives them that proper spacing, and then they won't glue everything together, which makes it difficult for you to get in there, get the honey out, and do your inspections, which is where the tools come in. It's always going to be glued together a little bit.
I mean, it flies a little bit.
A couple improvements that I'm going to make here. I think on this tree that's off to the side, I'm going to put a stand up there so that I have kind of like a workspace. That'll be where the water goes. There's a water source behind me, like a little creek, but I want to give them more water because the other closest water source is my pool, and I don't want them to congregate around the pool. So I'm going to put a chicken water on this tree next to me over here. And that'll also double as my work stand when I come back here. I can put my tools, smoker, any new food, and all that kind of stuff on there when I'm working. So I'm going to leave these the package boxes right next to it for a couple hours. Come back out here in a little bit and see how it's doing. These Langstroth hives are not that heavy individually, but as they get full with brood and with honey and they build the comb on it, they're going to get heavier and heavier. So they naturally weight themselves down. So another thing I'm going to do is put a brick, a log, something on top to weight them down so that animals or wind or anything like that doesn't come by and knock them off the stands that I have. I mean, the stands are just cinder blocks that I have them resting on. So in between each box also they will put little bits of that propolis in there, and that will glue everything together. So it becomes more stable over time as the bees build. But as it is right now, it would be pretty easy to knock it over. You put some weight on top, it keeps it weighted down. I'm going to try as time goes on to get better about recording stuff like this. I got all kinds of projects going on here. We live in a subdivision. I've got several garden beds. Maybe I'll do a little flashback to the first one that I did with the boys. It was a 3x6 bed down in Florida, and now we're up to several 4x8s, a couple 2x8s, a 5x10. We started with 6 chickens that we bought from a feed store locally. I just hatched 24 chickens with a friend of mine, and we split them half and half. So now we've hatched our own chickens. We're starting these a couple beehives here. We got the garden going. We got a place in South Carolina that we're planting peanuts and watermelons. A friend and I are going to raise a couple pigs over the summer together. So this is my, I guess, commitment to myself here, that I'm going to start recording some of this stuff and document it, what the boys and I are doing, and see if we can come up with a decent little YouTube channel to document what we got going on. Until I come back for this next inspection for the hives, maybe I'll do a couple videos about some other stuff in between there.